Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa Cotter and today we're doing a colour along in Johanna Basford's Magical Worlds. So I've chosen a very simple page for us to start in Johanna's latest book, Magical Worlds, and I thought we'd work on this little frog here today. Now I am going to use Prismacolor pencils, and as I use them, I will tell you what colour I'm going to use, but I will put the colour in the corner of the video in case you want to use it. But you can use any pencil you'd like. And we're also going to use a white gel pen, and we're going to keep it very simple today. So let's get started. I'll just remove my page sticker, put it over there, and I thought we'd actually start with the little frog here. He's very cute, and we'd start with his mouth. So I'm going to be going in with cream, which is PC 914, and I'll try and keep my hand out the way. But I thought in the middle here, we're just going to do a very light layer of the cream. And then we're going to go in with Deco Yellow, which is PC 1011. Again, I will put this in the corner so you can all see. And I thought we'd do his mouth that way. Now we're also going to go in and just do one side of these little dots here. And we're going to then follow that up with the cream. He's a very cute little frog. Now I do apologise if my hand goes in the way. So I'm just working little light layers. But I thought this page we could do a couple of these per week to get it done. And I thought also at the ends of his little hands and feet. And then up here. Now we'll go back in with that cream colour. Trying to make it so my pencils don't roll everywhere. I'm just going to blend that in a little bit. And then we'll go in and fill in the yellows there. Now it is a very small image, so it shouldn't take too long. But I really like this page because it means we can get something done on channel and the video's not as long. If it was a long video, I would probably time lapse it and then do speed it up a bit. So this one's Sunburst Yellow and it is 917. This is one of my old ones, so I'm just going to do right up top there because it is quite a vivid yellow, and just on a few, just on the edge. You don't want much. It just adds a little bit of a glow, bit of a highlight, as if maybe he's glowing in the moonlight. And we'll come back to those stars after we've done the background. So now that we've worked on there, I do want to go in and start shading the frog. So with the frog, I'm actually going to go in with a pale sage, because then that's closest to the actual cream colour. But how I like to work with sort of colouring pages is, if I'm using a colour, I'll do that colour wherever I want it, all in one sitting, and then I'll go in with other colours afterwards. Now I also want to do his belly here, so it's a little bit more paler, but just very light layer. I don't want it too dark. And at the moment it may look a little bit washed out, but as we go along we'll work on it getting a little bit darker with the other greens I've chosen. And around that knee area, just in between the little dots. Just for a bit of fun there. Now, so I don't roll everything everywhere, we're going to actually go in with the spring green. So that is PC 913. And again, with a light layer, we're starting to get more bright colours now. So he'll sort of be a bit more bright. So we want to blend that in with the sage. We don't want to so this is a really simple way to do it. And you can blend into a bit of that sage on his stomach. Sorry about that. Now sometimes I go in first with the darker tones, and then other times I go in with the light, because you can always darken things, you can't always go back and lighten things too well. I learnt that mistake plenty of times with my colouring. So next we're actually going to go in with this apple green, slightly darker, and that one is 912, PC 912, and it is slightly darker than the spring green. So I guess this is sort of working in layers. If you do very light layers, then you can still layer with Prismacolors, but if you go in and burnish per se, you can't really go in and do too many more layers. So I like to work in very light layers. I am heavy-handed, so I've had to really learn how to do it very light. But what I'm doing here is just turning my pencil now. We will go in and start adding all the darker colours now. I'll just add a little bit more there so it doesn't look so. So that is our frog so far. Now we're going to go into our darker shades, which is sort of like shadow, and we're going to use Prussian Green, which is PC 109. Now I had wanted to get this out to you sooner, but funny enough, I'd actually run out of all my Prussian Greens, out of all my spare sets of Prismacolors, and I really wanted that colour for this page, and I do use it quite a lot. So under the eyes, I'm going to put a little bit of shading there. And then in the corners here, so I had to wait to do this video for when my pencil arrived. But thanks to Eclipse, it arrived pretty quickly. And they packed it all well with wrap. Bubble wrap. So we're just doing the shadows here, and it adds a little bit more depth. And then in the corners here as well, under his mouth, I like to add a little bit of shadow, and sort of in the underneath here, just do a line. So I'm going to move down. And we'll come in and blend out those colours. Now I like to blend out normally just with my pencils. I know that you can use coloured pencil blender. I have the Prismacolor one, which looks like this. But I find most of the time I can just blend using the pencils themselves. So there's also liquid ones you can use. I've got the Zest It if you want that painted effect, but for me I'm pretty happy with just using the pencil. Now we will go in back in with that spring green and apple green soon. So we're going to do the tops of the arm area here and bring it down, and then follow that there. Now I do apologise if you're struggling to see. Might move these over a little bit because I keep hitting them. good. So do you all have this book and are you enjoying it? And I do hear Johanna's working on another book already. I love Johanna Basford's books, and this one will be another flower one from what I can hear. So I can't wait for that. I love her flower books. And then here with the back legs, I want to do a bit of shadow for where the frog would actually be sitting. And then this side as well. But we're just building up those colours. We're not going in too dark. We're just building it up in layers. Now there is all different ways to blend. I am working on a blending tutorial, but that will be next month. Another blending guide that is going to be part of my beginner's guide to colouring. So I will explain all that. I have already got a pencil blending guide on my channel, which I did back when I was a beginner to YouTube, but I will be doing an updated version. So that is the Prussian green, and now I want to go in with some dark green, and I've rubbed all the number off with this one. It is one of my originals. And just around the edge. And as you can see already, that just looks a lot brighter. You don't have to do it in all the actual shadow, but I find it gives it a sort of look. And around that eye area, and then around here. I do apologise, this is very hard to, because this pencil is getting a little small now. And then we're going to do this side here. We'll start off with his leg. Extend that into his foot. And then we'll go back into and blend that out slightly with the actual apple green. And then we'll go in with a lighter colour again. But by doing it this way, you're not having to use a blender. And that's what I like about prisms. They blend together really, really well. So I'm putting a bit more pressure on the actual pencil. Now we'll go back in with the original colour, which was the sap green, and we'll just blend out that lighter area. Again, going around the actual little yellow dots. But this sort of blends it together. I find if you use white to blend, it can at times make your work too pale, where because we've already used this colour, it works really well together. So that is our little Frogity nearly done. Now I want to go in with a bit more of this sunburst yellow and just do the edges here. And we're going to do his eyes in this colour. I think if you repeat some colours that you've worked on, it's sort of got that harmony going with it. And now we've got the deco yellow. Just get a bit of that off. And then I've got a bit darker orange here. This is Cadmium Orange, PC 118. And I'm just going to go around the edge there. So it sticks out a little bit more. And I have also got Pale Vermilion, which is 921 in there. So that is the little froggy done. Now if you want it any more darker, we might add later on some sepia or espresso, but that's the frog done. Now I'd like to go in and do the little leaves that he's actually sitting on. Now we are going to repeat some of the colours we've used, but don't worry, they're not going to disappear. So first off, we are going to use Peacock Green, which we haven't used in the frog yet. So this is 907, and I'm starting out with the darker colour. And we're going to keep this really, really simple. So where he's actually sitting, I want a more darker colour, as well as where the actual leaf is over the top of the other one. So it's sort of like a shadow, but we will be adding some shadow with espresso. So now we'll do that corner, leaving a little bit of the white so we can add a little bit of lightness. But again, not pressing too hard, just going in with a light layer. And then here we're going to extend it. So of course, it's sort of like a shadow around his little feet. What would you call them? Flippers? I've never really thought about it. Now we will go back into this and darken that up. Now the colour after that is going to be, of course, your apple green. Just to blend that in a little bit. So go moving your pencil back into the actual darkness. Now when I usually do an image that's got plants or a lot of greenery, I try and stick to a couple of different colours. 3 at the most, sometimes 4, mainly because then it looks more harmonious. It goes together, the colours sort of match, and you're not using hundreds of pencils either. So I will do one more of these next week, and I'll try and release it next week. I'm thinking one of these, maybe this one or the snail here, one of the ones. So I will be releasing one more. My husband is working late shift, so he works from 2:30 right through to 10:45 at night. So I'm taping at night time at the moment, and that's usually the only time I get to, the kids are asleep and I can actually colour in peace. But I will work around it and try and work on it during the day. So we're actually using a deco yellow here. So again, using some of the colours, but it's adding harmony to the actual image. And you can actually use this to blend in some of this green. So I've got the kids back to school next week, which is rather exciting. And little Lily, who I've been colouring since she was 3 months old, and she's off to kindy, so she turns 4 in March. She's off to kindy, I can't believe it. So today I was very busy cooking. I cooked 53 mini pizzas, and I made about 8 trays of sausage rolls, all filled with vegetables and things, and some pizza scrolls, which my kids all golloped them up, and they're all in the freezer ready for school. So that is the lily pads there. Now we will darken that up a little bit soon, but I thought we'd actually go in and do the plants now. And we'll start off with the green. We'll get all the greens done first. So the greens this time I've decided to use is the Kelly green. That's going to be sort of the darker green. Now there's not much here to actually do. So I'm doing down the bottom here, and then I'll do a little bit up top. And now where the shadow would be, which is that plant there, we'll leave a bit of for the light to be. And then we'll go in and do it here. And here and here. And then the next colour is sap green light. Bit here. Now, don't feel daunted with little images. I know that it's scary. You think, oh my goodness, I'm going out the lines. But there's ways to make that not as noticeable. But yeah, so as I said, today I've been very busy cooking. So this is sort of my relaxed time now. And it is approximately like 11 o'clock at night. But it's the only time I really get to colour in. Oh, I forgot one part here. Especially with a 3-year-old who's very, very busy. She's at that age where she's into everything. Now I am going to go back in with this dark green and just do a little bit here and at the starts here to add a bit more darker shadow. And we might actually do some of that into that here on the lily pads, sort of like more darker shadow. Where the frog's actually sitting. Head caster, sort of like a shadow. Now, I am doing a little bit more pressure. As you can see, that's adding a lot more shadow there. I will be adding some of the espresso as well. Now we're actually going to work on the flowers here, or I'm sewing their flowers. So today they're flowers. And we're going to use processed red, which is PC994. And what I want to do is just do a simple blend, and I'm just going to go up here, so darker down here and then lighter up there. The minute I saw this, I thought it needs to have something bright and colourful, just to contrast, because there's a lot of green in this. And I love green. I think it's one of my most used pencils. But it just needs something to make it pop. And then we're going to go in with the hot pink. That's PC993. And I'm going to go down slightly with it. Because what we're doing is we're going to fade out all the hot pink there, and it's going to sort of blend in. And then we're going to use pink, and that is PC929. Now, I don't want to extend it right up to the top there, because I'm actually going to use a lighter pink again. but this is going to cool down the brightness. Now, of course, doing this video, this is taking me quite a long time for a little image, and I would probably do it a lot quicker if I wasn't taping, but this isn't too bad of length of time. Now, the next one we're going to use is Deco Pink. That is PC 1014. Now, I want to bring that up, but not totally to the top. So we're just going to fill the area in and leave a little bit of the background, because then I can go in with white and blend that out slightly. I don't want to overuse the white, because as I said earlier, when you use white, it seems to wash out what you're working on and make it really pale. So instead, I want it to sort of now I'm going to have the pencils rolling everywhere. So right on the edge, we're just going to do that white. Now, I am not someone who whites out my lines. I've done it a couple of times, but I actually don't mind having a line there. So that is the flowers done. Now, we're going to do the stars before we start the background. And I'm going to go all over with the cream, because we're actually going to add colour to this. So there is only 4, and then we're going to do the Deco Yellow. Again, one side, which is what I normally do. They are only small. And then the Sunburst Yellow as well. Now we're just going to do a little bit of a glow around those stars, just with the cream. So that is PC 914. And now we're going to start the background. So whenever I do a background, I do start normally with the darker colours and then go into the light. So we're going to work with Cobalt Turquoise, that is PC 105, and we're just going to start doing it. Now I want light layers, because we're going to do sort of like a fading background. So it sort of gets lighter as it heads to the little frog. And we're just going around the edge. We will be darkening this and also blending all of this out. But it is only a small area. So we're just doing small little circles and taking our time. There's no rush. So I'm going to do it a little bit lighter downwards a little bit, so I can do sort of like that fade effect. The next colour we're going to use is aquamarine, that is PC 905, and we're going to take it back into that darker area so we can sort of help blend that in. Then we're going to bring it in slightly. And I'm bringing it down slightly under the plant there. Now I know I went into that plant, don't worry. That's easily fixed with a bit of white gel pen. And then back here. And then we're going to go in with one of my favourites. I use this pencil so often, I've gone through so many of them. Light Aqua, which is PC 992. And we're going to go in. We're going to actually use that to blend out the other colours as well. I seem to use this pencil all the time. Now I'm going near to the frog, but I don't want to fully touch him because we've got one more colour yet. That'll give that sort of a glowing effect. So as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit more blended there. Now here it's a bit more difficult because I've got to stretch my hand over. But you're still applying a little bit more pressure when you get back here, and then you lighten that pressure up as you go down that way. So you're doing sort of a light layer, and up here it's more pressure. So it's about having control of your pencil. For me, it took time to learn that control, because I was always going in real dark straight away. I'm going to go under here. Now that's that one there. And then the next colour we're actually going to use is Cloud Blue, another one I use quite a lot, which is PC 1023. And we're going to take it back to about here, and we're going to go in and blend out the lighter tones. Sort of like a glow effect around the frog. So you've got that faded look, but at the same time, it's just blending it out. I find when I do this technique, it sort of draws the eye to the actual frog. So your eye is drawing in. Now, if you wanted, you could use white here, if it made it easier for you. Now we're going to go in and do a little bit more shadow, and I'm actually going to use Adultcoloringchannel blue, which is PC 208, and I'm just going to go right around the edge, very slightly. I'm not going to do it very dark, but it just adds a little bit of shadow into the edging. And I will go back in with the peacock blue to blend it out, but it just gives it that edge. Now I'll come around this way, very gently doing it. It's very difficult. And then going back in with that, this is the cobalt turquoise, and blending that out. And I'm doing quite a bit of pressure there, but it just gives it that edge. And then last of all, I will go back in with the light aqua and blend that out some more. By using this colour instead of the white, you're keeping that vibrancy. Now, I'm also going to go in and use some of this blue here into the actual edging of the actual flowers. And we will blend this out as well. It just gives it a bit of something. And we will use that processed red to blend that out. Nearly finished. Just going to add some shadows. Now we'll use this pink here, and then pretty much we're ready for the shadows. So that's so far. Now I thought I'd go in with the espresso, so that is PC 1099, and I want to add a little bit of shadow, darker shadow, underneath where the frog's actually sitting. It just adds a little bit of something to that area instead of using black. So I'm just going around here, and then under where the leaf is on top of the other one, and around his foot. And then between his little feet there. And I thought just here as well. And then in the corners here, not a lot, just a little bit. And in the corners here, where shadow would be. It just sort of makes it more pop. Now I will go back in with a bit of Prussian green to blend that out slightly. And then I want to do around his eye here. So his eyes sort of pop. Now, I also want to do a little bit of, I thought I'd put in some of the pale sage and blend that out a little bit. Now, last but not least, I'd like to do a little bit more of this deco pink into this area where it just looks too, it's not blended enough. And I'd like to use some of this cadmium orange, sorry my pencil's flying everywhere, into the actual stars and his eyes. Just on one side where it makes it look more sparkling. Now, I'm pretty happy with that. Now we'll go in with the gel pen. Now I am using just the Uniball Signal one. And the first area I'd like to do is his eyes. And then a little bit on his mouth here. And do a little bit of some dots as if they're stars. Now you can do these any colour you want. But I like to keep them sort of into the darker area, so they show up a little bit more. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I might do some just around the actual flower. But I think this all looks very bright and happy. Now, I thought we'd do a water droplet as well. I think just here would look really good, a little water droplet. Now, usually I'd use green, but so you can actually see, I'm going to do a little circle, and we will be fading it out. But I like to do the shadow down here. And then we'll go over that with the green. And add a little bit more shadow. And then I'm going to get the white and lighten the top up. And do the circle a bit more faded out. And then I'm actually going to get the espresso, and under here do a bit more of a darker shadow, and then I'll get the deco yellow and do a bit of light here, and then I like to just put in a couple of dots there, and you have a little water droplet sitting there. You could do some more. Whoops, I've just wiped out. That's my late nights doing it to me, but we'll do another one. So we'll do one down here, but we'll do a little one. So I like to do the shadow, and then there. I think that just adds a little bit of difference. So that was my first colour along in quite a long time. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we will do another page in this book that is more detailed, and that will be done hopefully next month when my husband is on day shift, so I can have the night time to do this. But we will do another one of these next week. I'm thinking this snail here or this one. They're both rather cute. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, why not press like and subscribe, and come back soon for more videos. Bye.